All right, as promised, we got a catch-up video here because the range is back in action. We got the Remington 514 single-shot bolt action. We got the Mossberg 342 KA with the Ironsighter scope mounts and the scope that was originally on here that we moved over to here. And we have the Mossberg 144 LSA, which then did not have the peep sight on the back. So Hamlin came to the plate with this. We're going to take a look at that sight and how awesome that is. And of course, we have the high standard Model 104 that my shooting video, I did have some footage. It somehow got corrupted. So we got some more shooting video and let's check it out. Mill Serp Garage. Yeah, we got some backtracking to do, as I promised you. Let's take a look first at the Remington 514 at the range. Well, let's take a look at the range. So the range, it's done. They didn't really like renovate the room. They just added this, I don't know what you would call it, just um, the shooting equipment. You know, we got the whole new range package added here. Do I like it? Well, it's not as good for filming, but it's definitely better for shooting. So, you know, for me making videos for you guys, it's not as good. I'm going to have to make some changes. Talk about that later. But I'm using my old filming method here with a new place, so it's not really going to work that well. Just we'll get it together though. So here's the 514 single shot, short, long, and long rifle. I just put long rifles through it. CCI standard velocity. Tell you this thing is incredibly accurate. It's a tack driver. I loved it. I love the feel. I love the trigger. They say the trigger's junk on it. I don't know. I liked it. I liked how the trigger felt. It just had this quirk. This was the quirk right here. You'd cycle it, right? And it wouldn't pull the brass out, but if you closed it and then went again, it worked just fine. And it consistently did this. So it wasn't that sometimes you'd have to cycle it 2-3 times to get the brass out. It's almost like bearable to just be like, well, when I fire, I got to open it, then close it and open it again. Like, it's a single shot. Where am I rushing? You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal, really. As long as it consistently does that, it's really not that much of a problem. To be honest with you, I don't really mind. If I knew I could just do a little filing on the extractor or something to straighten that out, I mean, I probably try to put a brush right in the bore there, right in the chamber, and with a drill and really try to like really, maybe it's that the brass is getting stuck a little bit in a dirty chamber there. But you know what? It so consistently works that way perfectly that it's really not that much of a problem. Be honest with you, and it's so incredibly accurate. This thing was really a blast to shoot, and I could work with that little quirk right there. And you see, this thing it's like it's got no provision for a scope or anything. This is just the way Remington wanted it, just with these iron sights. And let me tell you, these sights are awesome. They're very easy to see, like the sight radius on it, just the distance of the sights from where your eye is and this distance from each other is just perfect to give you like a non-blurry, nice sight picture where you could really punch out the center of the target. And the bolt, as much as it wasn't pulling them out, or the bolt is just very smooth. It's a kind of like a cock on closing design there, and works really nice. Loved it. That's that's an A plus right there. 514. Next up, we got the Mossberg 342KA. So remember, we swapped the mags. So we needed to know if the mag in the 144 that was supposed to be just a fixed mag for just long rifle. But when I bought it, this was in it. And when I bought this rifle, it's supposed to have the magazine here that you see that's you could change. It's set up for shorts right now. See, then you can move it there. It's set up for long. Now it's set up for long rifle. So it was supposed to have this mag, but it had a stock mag. So the fact that I bought the 144 and they each had mismatched mags, and these mags they're able to be switched back and forth. And how you can get that out is like you're going to see when we move to the 144, we're going to talk about Hamlin Sales. So Hamlin has a chart right here. They have like listings that show the mag interchangeability and compatibility. The Hamlin has this right on their website. Here it is right here. So somewhere on here, it must say, because they do interchange. I didn't check it because they just worked. But the 342K or 342KA, which I have here, should be interchangeable with the 144 LSA. It should have that up here on this chart because they are interchangeable. And for that reason, I was able to get now I have the short, long rifle mag in the right rifle. Now, also, the scope that was on the 144 went on here. And with this scope, you can look. Here's a picture. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. I'm just going to take a shot against the white wall here to show you best I can. Hopefully it's coming through. How you could sight underneath the scope down the iron sights, which they were dead on. Or you could use the scope, which I was having some trouble with. It was shooting low right, and I was turning the scope adjustments up left, up left, up left, and it didn't seem to be having any effect. So I'm not sure really what's going on there. I don't know if it's because this is a Bushnell Sport View. I really shouldn't be having issues like that with it, but I don't know. Maybe it just needed to be moved around a little bit. It could be moved forward a bit. I could just kind of recenter it and try again. But I wasn't really having much luck adjusting the scope. But it was if I shot high right, high left, it was definitely accurate. Let's say it wasn't moving around. I was making nickel-sized holes in the target. So how did this thing function? Functioned awesome. I'm using here long rifles. I went to longs, and the longs were working just fine. Longs are weird too. They're like it's kind of like a dying thing. It's a shame that you can't really find them. Every once in a while, CCI puts out some, but not many companies are putting them out anymore. But longs are pretty cool. They shouldn't get rid of them. They really shouldn't. They should. They have a place. I think. I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't want to see them go away. So I think last time I saw them, I bought a case. I have a bunch of them here. You know what I mean? And this is a perfect opportunity to use some of them just to check to show that the magazine sets itself up for longs, works for longs. I have some longs. It's pretty good. Problem came in with the shorts. The thing with the shorts is that if you just load one in the mag and cycle it, it'll cycle every time. But it wasn't happy about going over. You'd have to try different shorts. I think maybe if I tried some different different kinds, different brands. Maybe you'd find one that would work, but it didn't want to load over the round that was in the magazine. The round in the magazine was interfering with the round that was trying to go into the chamber, and it was turning it a little bit, so it was hitting the edge of the chamber. So with my finger, if I just gave it a little guide with my finger every time I closed it, it would work. So it wasn't the extractor that wasn't working. It wasn't necessarily that it wasn't picking up the round properly. It was literally going over the. It was like it wasn't entering the chamber quick enough, like the long rifle or the longs would. The nose of the bullet would already be in the chamber when it's hitting the nose of the next round in the magazine. But the shorts, the round in the magazine was interfering with the bullet that like ready to be fed into the chamber before it was actually in the chamber. So it would cause it to turn just a teeny bit and touch the edge of the chamber and not go in. And if I would have slammed it home, it might have worked, but it would have cut a chunk of the bullet out each time. So shorts, not so much with these Remington golden bullets I was using. And that's the story with the 342 KA. Love this these scope mount stuff. The scope was dialed in, and then you could use the iron sights as well underneath. It was very cool to use the sights underneath. It was cool to sight right along there and still be able to use them. It worked well, you know. Actually, it made the scope like kind of cut down on glare. Next up, check this out. So here's the 144 LSA. So what did we go through with this guy? Well, first of all, the magazine that was in the 342 KA when I bought it, the regular long rifle magazine, which this one's supposed to have, does go in here. It feeds fine. It works just perfect. So, the sight. Here's the big deal with this guy. Is this this sight right here? So I could have found, what was it again? The S. I hate to call it the wrong thing. Was it? What is it? I'm just going to show a picture of it. This right here is the sight that's supposed to go on the gun. I don't have all my papers in my research out from when I did the video, so I forgot what it's. I forgot the number that it is, but it's available. If you poke around, you find it. It's just they're a lot of money. And this guy right here was here. I got the paper right here. I'll show you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll show you straight up. This guy was OM22 peep sight from Hamlin Sales. It was $65, $4 shipping. Oh, they didn't even charge me tax. It was just $69 straight up, shipped to me. 123. This thing is quality, man. Listen to this. I don't know if you can hear that. It's like a very fine click adjustments here. Oh, awesome. And I didn't even really sight it in 100%. I took some shots just to make sure this was working. The screws here, the mounting screws, they needed to be filed just a teeny bit to not hit the bolt, which is good because now I know they're exactly as deep as they need to be, as deep as they can be. I filed them until when I put them in here, they were perfectly, at the edge of the receiver, And I worked it just so, see, you could tell it's not touching the bolt at all. The bolt is super smooth, not interfering at all. But it was originally when I put them in. And there's a paper. It said something like, you could file them or put a number 10 washer behind the screws. I didn't want to put the washer. I just filed them a touch. But I love it. I love the sight. It looks really cool looking down through this, the hole in this disc. And then this really cool, the Mossberg front sight here. It has the post in the middle with orange around it. I'll put up pictures of that too over here. It's pretty freaking awesome. And the sight picture looked really cool. And shooting this thing, it was sickly accurate. It really was. And I was having a lot of fun shooting it. And then all of a sudden, something weird happened. Check it out. See if you can pick this up right here. Yeah, what the hell was that? I was like, did I Was my finger touching the trigger or what? I mean, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of having like a surprise. You know, sometimes when you're not ready for a gun you're shooting to go off, but it goes off. Either you got a little too much pressure on the trigger. Like a lot of times that happens when you single action Smith and Wessons. Be really careful when you single action Smith and Wesson revolvers, because you just breathe on those triggers and they go off. You know what I mean? And a lot of these Smith and Wesson revolvers have some serious kicks, so you got to be careful. But in this case, I could have sworn I was off the trigger. I was with bolt actions, like I'm very careful, you know, and then loaded up another mag, and I'm going through the next mag. And I was now, because I felt that, I was very, very careful. I was kind of closing the bolt hard to see, because I was thinking, you know, this here is dropping when I'm not touching the trigger right there. I felt that. So I was slamming the bolt closed kind of hard, a little harder than normal on purpose to try to get it to replicate, and whoop, there you go. And I definitely did not have my finger on the trigger. Then I was being very careful to keep my hand completely off the trigger. So what does that mean? That means that if you watch the video on the 144, there was and here I'm pulling in the target to show the accuracy. How sick is that, right? So what we have to do is we have to get inside. We have to get inside the 144 LSA here to that adjustment screw. There was a trigger adjustment screw. Watch the video. I show it and I say, I'm not messing with that because of this exact, because, you know, you go like, oh, I'll lighten the trigger a little bit. And then you close the bolt and put a round through the wall. I know not to mess with those things until we got to baseline it first, at least, you know. So baselining it tells me that somebody made the trigger too loose. Hopefully, there's nothing, you know, nothing wrong with the sear or anything like that. But I've never had that issue with a Mossberg rifle, and since this one's adjustable, just like everything else, it's somebody fooled around with it and it's out of adjustment. So that's something that I'm going to do, is tighten that up, and I don't know if I have any further issues, I'll let you know. But I don't know, should we do that? You know what? Let's check out. Maybe I'll add that in later on, but let's just finish where we're at. So last, certainly not least, the high standard. I had footage of this. Pistol in action. It was pretty cool footage. I don't know what happened to it. It got corrupted. Some of it got corrupted. Some of it got lost. Some of it I just dreamed that I did it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But there we go. I got it right here. Here's some footage. I haven't reviewed any of this footage. I could be doing this video and then showing you horrible footage, which is entirely likely because it was tough. The table that I'm sitting at is much, much smaller, narrower. The lanes are narrower. So I don't have the ability to put the camera in a spot to really, it's like right on top of me. Here's what my plan is. I told you I'd tell you. My plan, number one, this is what I ordered on Amazon. They're coming tomorrow. I got a head mount for an iPhone. A head mount. I'm going to try that. I'm going to put it on my head. I'm going to see what it looks like when I shoot. I'm going to get up there like a total idiot, and I'm going to shoot trap with my iPhone on a head mount with my microphone clipped to my lapel. That's what I'm going to do for you guys. I mean, the entire trap line is going to be like, but I don't care. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that there, and I'm going to also do it at the range. And I also have a desk clip on, like it's a desk mount gooseneck iPhone mount, so that I could clip that to the table and then put the camera wherever. So maybe I could put it back over my shoulder, or more forward, or up above pointing downwards or something. Like I'm going to mess with it. I'm going to see what kind of footage. I have to make a change because I'm not going to be able to do it the way I was doing it before. And this is the high standard is basically just use CCI standard velocity. That's it. Don't mess with anything else. It's It's just supreme. Luckily I didn't. This has all these adjustments for trigger and there's not everything too. I never had to mess with anything. I don't have to mess with the trigger. I don't have to mess with any of the adjustments. It's absolutely perfect. It cycles the CCI. Standard velocity is just fine. Absolutely mint. Doesn't feel like it's beating the slide up, and yet it never stovepipes or misfires or misfeeds. Nothing. It's great. It has the coolest to load magazine. So easy to load the mag. And yeah, these things are classic. And I saw another one of these for sale. It was the exact same one, but a 60. I think it was a 64. This is a 63. It was a 64. And now I know these grips are original. I wasn't 100% sure, but I know they're original because it had these exact grips. It looked exactly like this. But it was 1 year later. This is a 63. This is what I call a Dealey Plaza special. And it was a 64 though, and I wanted it. I love this one so much. I wanted to get another one that's identical. That's crazy, but that's what I wanted to do. All right, should we go in here and adjust this thing? Let me see something. I think I have like the instructions that actually. Let me take a look. Let's look together here. No, that doesn't look like the instructions. I thought I had. Does this show the adjustment? Somewhere in here I thought it showed how to do the adjustment. Here it is. A hollow screw containing a spring and a plunger adjusts trigger pull weight from about 9 to 3.5 pounds. Okay, which way do I turn it? I had a thing that showed which way to turn it. This is the small bore rifle championship stuff. No, that's not it. I guess I have it. I guess I had a picture of it. I think I had a picture of it in my photos when I did the video. So let me pause you for a second here. Let me take a look online, see what I can find out, and see if I know what this adjustment is, and maybe we'll adjust it a little bit and see how it feels. All right, so after looking online, got our curved bit here for this guy. After looking online, I see some adjustment quotes of adjustment screw position, 0 turns, not touching. Something when you screw it in, it touches. It'd be 1 pound, 8 ounces. Then turning it in clockwise. 1 turn is 1 pound, 12 ounces. 2 turns, 2 pounds, 10 ounces. So it just looks like we need to turn it in. So I don't know if I need to seriously sit here and do all of the taking all the measurements that this guy is taking. I just know that when I'm closing the bolt, it only happened twice out of 3 magazines full. So that's 21 rounds. It happened twice. So it's happening 10% of the time, which isn't a little bit, but it's not like it's happening every time. So let's just get in here. Let's open the bolt here. That makes that go in the way. Let's get a bit that fits in there. I don't think it's tight, so I think I would go with this guy. I would go a little bit thinner. It's having a little bit of trouble getting in there. How about this guy? This will work. All right, so we just let's test it out. Let's see. We're going to do a couple of dry fires here, so I don't want you guys to get upset. Do I have a 22? I got a 22 case over here. I guess we could throw in. Let me get a tweezer. It's always easier to put a 22 case in with a tweezer. Definitely worth it to reach for the tweezer. Let's see what that feels like. Is that a... Whoa, where did that go? Need a tweezer to get it now. Come on, guy. Don't ruin my video. Use CCI brass, by the way. Stinger brass. Stinger brass I always save stinger brass. It's really great for these types of testing. So whatever, I closed it. It didn't even feel like it. Was the safety on? The safety was on. That's the hammer falling. That was weird. Let's just screw it in a little bit here. We'll go like one turn like that. Seems to have been adding like a pound. Like, I don't mind. It was so light. It was too light. Let's get this in there. I hope this rifle appreciates what I'm doing to avoid firing pin dry fire. Here we go. Let's see what it feels like now. I guess it changed it. I guess. Let's just go a little bit more. All right, I'm going to shoot it again, and I'm going to see if that happens again. I don't care if the trigger's a little heavier. It might feel a little bit heavier. Yeah, I think it does. That feels better. That feels good. That's where we're going to leave it. And we'll put this back together with you guys, because we don't like to leave our jobs undone. So here's the story. The range. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the range? Yeah, I would go with a thumbs up, because inherently, what's better is that it's more fun to shoot there. I like the camera. There's a camera on like the targets, so you can take a look at that. I like the what do you call it? The where's the fatter bit? Oh, here it is. I like the way it sends the target downrange and brings it back. You know, the old clips used to be nice though. It was a big heavy metal clip that you just clipped the target to. It was like old school, but it was nice. It was such heavy metal that you'd never break it. You know, part of what's annoying about ranges is that there's always like nonsense going on about the clips. You know, those clips that you clip on, you clip the targets to like a backing board or something, and then you always hit the clips. Sometimes they have hangers. They use hangers with clips. You know what I mean? And it's like when you hit the hanger and the hanger falls down, the target falls on the floor. Everybody's like, "Dick!" You know, it always sucks. I've seen so many ranges like that. One cool thing about this range was it just had such a big, heavy steel, like thick half-inch plate steel clips made out of, like somebody actually constructed those. They were genius. It wouldn't matter if you shot the thing all day, you'd never damage it. And none of them were damaged. All the lanes were always open. I've never seen one of those damaged. But now it's kind of like a fragile thing with clips and a backing board, and if somebody shoots the mount, it's going to be a problem. I hope it holds together, and there's like a bag of those clips sitting there for people to use, but once that bag of clips is gone, you really think they're going to keep replacing clips there all the time? I doubt it. So I threw 2 in my bag so that I'll always have them, and I guess that's it. You're just always going to have to keep a couple of clips. Anyway, they put a lot of money into it. I'm not complaining. It's really nice. They're trying to make the range nicer, and you know, and it is nicer. Inherently, it's more fun to shoot there. But for us, I'm going to have to make some changes. And on that note, I guess that's it. We found out that the trigger needed adjustment here on the 144. We found out that the 514 has a weird, quirky ejection thing that I could deal with. The high standard is awesome, as was expected. And the, what was it? The 342... Can we just talk about that? The 342 scope is needs something. Something needs to go on with the scope. But the iron sights I could use underneath the scope, which is great. I might maybe I'll take the scope off that rifle. Maybe it just doesn't like that rifle. Since the iron sights are right on target and they're beautiful, maybe I'll just leave that one iron sighted, and maybe I'll put that. Maybe I'll put the Ironsighter scope mount and the scope on something else and surprise you guys in the future. And until then, You all take care. Putting together a nice new video for you on something that you're going to find really interesting. So stay tuned. See y'all later.